Hi, I'm PhotoJunkie from photoshopbus.co.uk. So in this tutorial, which is just really a tutorial for people starting off with Photoshop, it's part of my beginner series of tutorials, which you can follow on YouTube or at photoshopbus.co.uk. We're going to talk about shapes, and just a few of the options. So if we come down to the toolbar, you can see that right here is the options for shapes. So you can right click or click and hold with the left mouse key to get the options. So I'll just do the rectangle tool, and then if you come along to the tool options, which is at the top here, you'll see that we've got some options indeed. So the first one we'll talk about is shape. Now a shape is going to fill it with this fill color. So if this fill color was the same as this blue color and you wanted to change it, it would change, but it wouldn't affect your foreground color. So we're just going to leave it on black. And then you've got options for a stroke. Now some of these options you see up here won't be in previous versions of Photoshop, so you can just play along depending on what version you've got. Now there's some different options for stroke. You've got no stroke, you've got a block color, a gradient, and a pattern. And of course with each of these you get a little flyout with your to load patterns, save patterns, and create a new pattern. Okay, so some pattern options there. Let's go for just a block color, and it's red, so we pick red. And then we do the thickness of a stroke, we'll leave it at 10 points, and then you can choose what kind of line you want. So we'll do a solid line, you can have a dashed line, and then you can align it, so inside, center, or outside. We'll align it on the outside. Caps we'll leave as it is, and the corner. The corners, remember, this is only going to affect the stroke, not the shape itself, just the stroke. So let's have this one, just for variety, which sort of nips off the corner of the stroke. And then you can click more options, and you can create some more complicated strokes that way. Okay, the rest I'm going to leave as is, and then when you're creating a shape, it will put it on a new layer automatically. There you go. Now it's created a path with this, so if I make sure the path's on and take this off, and maybe you can see that, maybe I'll have to zoom in, but we have got a path there, so remember that. And you can see that it's nipped off the corners of that stroke. It's put it on the outside, exactly what we told it to do. If you want to change the color, you can by double clicking on the thumbnail. You've got a little corner down there, double click on that, and you can change the color of the inside of the shape. Okay, so let's look at the next one, and the next one I'm going to create a new layer for, and we're going to choose path. Now all our options go except for these combining paths options, and some options there which is a bit more complicated. And here we're going to simply draw a path. It's not going to color it, it will create the path, a new path for you, which you can go ahead and save by double clicking. If you wanted to fill this path now, there's a few ways. You can control enter to turn it into pixels. Let's go back on that. Or you can do down here fill path with foreground color, which is this blue. Let's make this sort of like a darker blue, and that'll make it a darker blue. There's some options there also for turning it into a selection, but I prefer the control enter shortcut. It's easier. So that's path. Get rid of that one as well. And the next one is pixels. So this will create it just like we did with a shape, but we haven't got the same amount of options. You've got some options there with opacity and anti-aliases and blend modes, but it will create some of these shapes just as pixels for you. So if you're planning on get rid of that. Right, so here you can see it's created it and filled it in, and it's not a shape layer, it's not a vector layer, it's actually a pixel layer, and you can see there's no path, it didn't create the path with it. So that's easy if you just wanted a shape and you was going to convert it to pixels anyway, just go ahead and use that. So that's the same for all of these. The line tool, you can change the weight, which is the thickness of the line, so we can change this to say 10, and then draw the line, hold down shift to keep it straight vertically or horizontally, and fill it in. And again, you can do it pixel, shape or path. And then the other one you've got is custom, and the custom shape tool, again let's choose shape and let's take away the stroke and no stroke, make the fill black, and you can choose what shape you want. Now if you come to the flyout, there's some already there, but you can look on the internet and you will find an enormous amount of shapes available for free off the internet. So you just come to load shapes, and then I've got some here which I downloaded, gears, so we can load that. And if you come down to the bottom, we've got all these shapes. So let's draw one. Let's try maybe this one here. So I'm on shape. I've got fill of black. I'm going to control click, then hold down shift and alt, so it constrains it from the center. Going to come out like so. So we've got the path for that. We can double click that and call it gear. And we've got that shape, and from there you could maybe make a 3D object. So selected layer, work path, 3D extrusion, create. In fact, let's do selected layer, create, spin it round, and maybe just take the extrusion down a little bit. And there we have some gears, so you could do quite a nice 3D scene like so. So there's your options for the shape tool, so practice using them. Good thing about shapes is you have got quite a lot of options, and if you're scaling your object, it's quite good to use vector. So get used to using them. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.